Your mindset has a direct relationship with your output. If you've got the wrong mindset towards something, there's a good chance that it's not going to result in success. But while having the wrong mindset is dangerous, living with an outdated mindset is slightly more dangerous. These are ideas and mindsets that might have led to success in the past, but no longer have such appeal. What do you think these outdated mindsets are going to be? Well, the video will answer all the questions you might have, so let's just jump into it, shall we? Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Number 1. Good things come to those who wait. If you're waiting around for someone to save you, well, there's a fine chance you're only wasting your time. Believing that good things will happen to you if you wait isn't a show of patience. Good things only happen to those who go out and act. If you want to become successful in the future, you don't sit around waiting for success to just knock on your door. Instead, you get out the door and drag success back in with you. The world is at the feet of those who act, not those who wait for good things to happen. Never forget that. Number 2. You have no control. Look, life can be exhausting, definitely. It can go from 0 to 100 real quick, and even simple things can easily spiral out of control. But despite how difficult this might seem, it'll do you a huge disservice to believe that you have no control over your life. Of course, there will always be situations where you're faced with challenges that you cannot control, no matter how hard you try. But even in those situations, you can control how you respond to them. But don't go around with a fixed mindset that things are entirely out of your control when really they're not. Your own actions and inaction can determine the direction of your life and can also make you more likely to achieve your wildest dreams. Number 3, that fear is a sign you can't do something. Have you ever seen a professional parachutist at work? These individuals jump out of a flying plane like it's nothing, while some even take pictures and videos while they do it. Naturally, everyone thinks these folks aren't afraid, largely owing to the fact that they do this every time. But contrary to what you might think, these folks still get scared and nervous right before they take a leap out of a moving airplane. What matters is they do it anyway. These parachutists understand that fear is nothing but a chemical reaction. It's not a sign that you cannot do what you want to do. It's not a sign that you're incapable, and definitely not a sign that you're going to fail. So, are you scared because you're worried you might fail? Hey, ditch that thought and do what you have to do anyway. Otherwise, you won't be just full of fear, but you'll have regret too. Number 4. Being the best leaves no room for mistakes. The best don't make mistakes. What? Who ever said that? Because that is totally not true. Being the best is great, but it surely doesn't mean you're immune to mistakes. And are mistakes even really that bad? Every mistake is an opportunity to try something again differently. It's a chance to assess your performance, see what went wrong, and devise ways to prevent this error from happening again. If you have this outdated mindset that being the best makes you immune to errors, well, you've got to change it as quickly as possible. Number 5. Everything is permanent. If you've ever suffered intense physical pain, well, you might be able to understand how difficult it is to imagine life without the pain, thinking it is permanent, it will last forever. This is also true of other difficult situations. When you're in it, it almost feels never-ending. But in the words of Robert H. Schuller, tough times never last, but tough people do. No matter how bleak or hopeless things might seem, they will not last forever. So do away with this fixed mindset. It'll only make the situation seem more difficult than it actually is. And to be real with you, the opposite is true. Just about everything is temporary. Number 6. Believing in absolutes. Absolutist thinking is such a wrong way to navigate life. As humans, we're constantly evolving, constantly learning, and the facts we used to hold so dear are being disproven. Rather than embrace the rigid nature of absolutes, it'll do you more good to approach life with more flexibility. But it isn't just about embracing flexibility. We also must be equally as ready to effect changes in our daily lives. Number 7. Your past defines you. It's very common to have people judge you by what they know about your past. If your coworkers used to know you as a chronic procrastinator, we can be sure that they wouldn't want to work with you. Or if you've consistently failed in the past, it can be quite easy to tell yourself that you aren't capable of success. But look, here's the truth. Your past does not define your present or your future. It's only a template meant for you to learn from. It doesn't matter what your past says about you. If you're ready to improve, then nothing can hold you back. Your past does not define you, it simply informs you. Number 8. You can survive just fine on your own. A few centuries ago, it was totally fine to have this mindset. Everyone believed they could survive without help from anyone, and to a large extent, that could pass as a sort of truth. But things have changed, and the world has become more interconnected than ever, all thanks to the internet revolution. While this sole survivor mindset might have worked for so many people in the past, it's become dangerous for anyone to go through life believing this. We need other people to survive. We need support, care, advice, and even the presence of other people to help us achieve our dreams. And here's where it becomes super important to network. Make the decision to meet new people, sell yourself, and reap the many benefits of knowing the right people. Number 9. Life's a struggle. If we tell you life is really difficult, you'd probably agree with us. There are wars, economic recessions, poverty, a lack of clean water, and even chronic unemployment. We understand how difficult it is to comprehend all of these, and how this might affect your perception of life. But is it at all helpful to have this negative mindset toward life? Definitely not. Believing that life is a struggle initially fills you with a certain level of fear and pessimism, which is further compounded by a belief that everything will always be difficult for you. But dear Aluxer, while life is hard, it's also a beautiful place with endless opportunities. There will be difficult days filled with regrets out of your control, but there will also be happy days filled with immense joy. Life is about balance, and none of these moments should define your perception of life. Number 10. Other people are responsible for my setbacks. Do you always find yourself blaming other people for your failures or setbacks? Do you find it difficult to take responsibility for your own mistakes? Well, if you answered yes to either of these questions, then there is an urgent need for you to change your mentality. While other people might be slightly responsible for how certain events turned out, it's irresponsible to shift the blame from yourself every time things go wrong. Instead, take responsibility for your mistakes and see them as an opportunity for growth. Your mistakes don't mean you can no longer achieve your wildest dreams. It's only a subtle reminder to do it differently. Number 11. You have to be ruthless to win. Let's take a trip back to understand how ancient this mentality is. Historic leaders like Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar relied on this mentality to win. They were totally ruthless. But things have changed so much since early centuries, and there really isn't any reason to be ruthless towards your competition. In fact, it'll do you so much good to see other people as colleagues rather than your competition. We're all trying our best to succeed. Why should anyone want otherwise for someone else? Number 12. The scarcity mindset. You ever hear about the scarcity mindset, Aluxer? It's a flawed philosophy which suggests that life is like a finite pie, and if someone takes a large bite out of it, there'll be little left for everybody else. This is like saying that if you get really successful, then others are less likely to become successful as you are. But interestingly, it's the scarcity mindset that leads to a number of us being ruthless. We believe that there aren't enough resources to go around, so we've got to step on others to get our piece of the pie. But there is enough to go around. Success isn't a finite pie that somebody will finish off. Actually, that pie is getting bigger by the day. Your success doesn't stop anybody else from getting it. Free yourself from the scarcity mindset. Make friends with the mentality of abundance, and you'll be surprised at how helpful this will be. Number 13. You're too old to learn new things. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? That's a proverb we've heard too many times. Now, while it means you cannot cause a person to change their ways, it's also been interpreted to mean that you're too old to learn something new. But let's try a quick social experiment. What do you make of an old man learning to skate? Does the idea bother you? Are you particularly bothered that the older person is trying to do something synonymous with a younger person? If it does bother you, you might have some kind of problem going on. Come on, no one is ever too old to learn new things. It doesn't matter what it is, how old you might be, what matters is your decision to learn something new. And that, dear Aluxer, is all that really matters. Number 14. Some things aren't for you. We've explained the outdated mentality of thinking you're too old to learn. On the other side of the fence are individuals who think certain things just aren't for them. Now, you might think singing isn't for you, even though you really enjoy making music. Some people would choose not to have the time of their lives just because it doesn't feel like them. If this sounds like you, this video is assigned to adopt a more flexible mindset, okay? Be open to the possibilities of trying new things. Allow yourself to experience life at its best. Trust us, you'll be glad you did. Number 15. You have to fit in. Look, who made the rule that we all have to fit into some kind of weird box? That we all have to be conventional like everyone else? That's boring, okay? The right mindset is to have a flexible one. You can be anything you want to be, as long as you're not hurting anybody, and it doesn't have to fit into the norm. You be you, Aluxer. And there you have it, 15 outdated mindsets you have to break free from as soon as possible. Now maybe you're thinking, but what's the guarantee that breaking free from these outdated mindsets will set me up for success? Well, changing your mindset has been proven to help individuals transform their careers, relationships, and of course their entire lives. And if you've watched the video up until this point, here's an extra outdated mindset for you to avoid. Number 16. You cannot question authority. Were you ever taught to never question authority? Well, we wouldn't be surprised if you were. A number of us grew up believing that it was sinful to question authority, be it our parents, our teachers, the government. Whatever they passed down to us, we took it without question. But let's think about this together. The authority isn't always right. Slavery, despite how dehumanizing it was, had the backing of the law. Things only changed when we started to question and push back against this mentality. Do you have some outdated mindsets that you would like to share with us? Let us know in the comments section. You might not be the only one. And thanks for spending some time with us today, Aluxer. We're so glad you did. If you found value in today's video, please give us a like, hit the bell icon to never miss an upload, and don't forget to subscribe.